Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome to Jasper High School football coverage here on 18 WJTS. I'm Kerry Schneider, and joining me tonight is Jared Atkins. And tonight, the Wildcats are home once again for the second time this year, as they will entertain the Bosse Bulldogs here at Jerry Brewer Alumni Stadium and Joe Rolliner Field. The Bulldogs coming into the contest. In fact, both teams coming into the contest at 1-2, and of course 1-2 in the SIAC conference play, which currently is led by both Evansville Memorial and Evansville Rights at 3-0 apiece. Wildcats coming off a contest against Evansville Rights, in which the Panthers took care of the Wildcats 24-7 here at Jerry Brewer Alumni Stadium and Joe Rolliner Field. The Bosse Bulldogs, however, last week gave the Castle Knights all they wanted. In fact, they led that ball game, I believe, with about 5 minutes to go, and took it down to the wire before the Knights were able to pull away and win that ball game by a high score of 52-42. That ball game, Jared Atkins, Bosse showing that they're definitely no slouch. I mean, it's not one of your more typical traditional programs in the SIAC, but definitely an improving ball club.
I think so. Both teams coming in a little bit hungry after tough losses last week, so it'll be really interesting to see what we get tonight.
Well, the team captains for the both teams are meeting at midfield for the coin toss, and as they do that, Jared, this Bosse ball club, like I said, has a lot of big weapons in their arsenal, including Elijah Wagner, their quarterback.
Yeah, he's leading the conference right now in both passing and rushing. Crazy statistics he's putting up. He's averaging like 227 passing yards a game, averaging about 177 rushing yards a game, and we're only, 3 or 4 games into the season, so it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, so he'll be definitely a force to be reckoned with for the Jasper defense, who played very well last week, I might add, despite giving up 24 points to Evansville Rights. Rights, one of their more high-powered offenses as well here in southwestern Indiana.
They certainly look like one of the teams to beat in this conference. I mean, I don't want to.
Sure, go ahead.
That's just started. Got a little tongue-tied there.
Well, that's fine. Anyway, so exactly the point is that the SIAC is always a very, very tough conference. That's why you play. That's why you play the game with the best and so forth, making the best. It looks like Jasper has won the toss, and they have elected to receive, which is something you don't normally see, obviously. So the Cats did win the toss, and they will decide not to defer to the Bulldogs, and will receive for this ball game.
It's sad to see Griffin walking off the field not dressed to play there. It's
yeah, he was of course hurt midway in that ball game against Memorial in the first game of the year. It is tough to see that happen with any ball player, much less a senior.
That's heartbreaking.
It's going to be a big loss for this. It has been a big loss for the Wildcat offensive line, which is very touted coming into the season, and of course, it also is going to be a big loss for the basketball team come this winter too. So we're out set to kick things off. It looks like number 11 for Bosse will be the kicker, perhaps, or is that number 3? We'll see. Number 4, is it? Okay.
That would be Hope. It looks like he's averaging about 24, just under 24 yards a return so far this season.
And for the Wildcats back to receive, of course, is number 84, Mitchell Leinenbach, and number 25, Landon Fleck. They are set right now at about the 25-yard line. We're just about to get things kicked off here for game number 4 of the 2013 season here on 18 WJTS. Kerry Schneider along with Jared Atkins and, of course, Jeremy Marcos high atop the Alumni Stadium press box. As Amari Hope will, or is he? It looks like, is he a left-footed kicker? There we go. Hope comes forward, and his onside kick right to start off the bat. That's going to be recovered by number 3 for the Wildcats, Davis Roos. Davis Roos with a heads-up play. So I'm not sure if the Bulldogs have much hope in their kicking department, but the Cats will have the football in about as good a field position as almost you could ask for. Starting inside the Bulldogs territory. 1st and 10 at the Bosse 49 as the Wildcats offense on the field, led by their quarterback, number 5, Max Butel. Butel under center. A whistle, and
we got a flag
just
right
like
there.
that, penalty flag on the field is going to be offsides against the Bulldogs.
They're a little jumpy there, aren't they?
Little offensive, little little jumpy there are the Bulldogs as they will allow afford the Wildcats an extra 5 yards, and so the first actual play from scrimmage will come from the 44-yard line, and it'll be 1st down and 5 for Jasper.
Butel's a sophomore, isn't he?
Butel is a sophomore. Saw a little bit of action last year as a freshman. He's 5'8", 135 pounds. He will hand off to the fullback, number 6, and that, of course, is Carter Holsworth, and he will remain on our stepper across the 30-yard line, but a penalty flag comes from behind the Bosse line, and that's probably going to indicate a hold against the Wildcats.
Looks like it might be coming back.
2 plays and 2 holds against our 2 penalties. And there will be actually a personal foul. It's going to be against Bosse. So both penalties against the Bulldogs. First an offsides penalty, and now we have a personal foul against the Dogs. That will definitely result in about at least another 10, maybe yards or so. Face mask is the call, personal foul, so that'll be a 15-yard penalty, and that'll take it down to the 15-yard line.
Not always good to see that right away in the beginning. That's you got to better get that under control.
Penalties are their Achilles heel for some ball clubs, of course. The Jaspers had their share this year. So 1st and 10 from the 15, and Butel again under center. He'll hand it off again to Holsworth, and he'll take it across the 15 to about the 14. So a pickup of 1. Carter Holsworth on his 2nd carry of the game and as many plays.
He's averaging this season about 5 yards a carry.
He's
That's impressive.
And it's definitely one of the mainstays of the Wildcat offense, which is pretty much ground-oriented so far this year. But the Cats do have a receiver split far to the far side, which is Luke Heichelbeck. Handoff again goes to Holsworth. Holsworth remains on his feet. He looks like he's across the 10, inside the 10 to about the 7, or excuse me, about the 8. The ball is going to be spotted at the 8-yard line. 3rd down and 3 after a pickup of about 6. 3rd and 3 from the 8. Butel again under center. Butel will keep the football. He will maybe pick up a yard if that. It looks like a very short yard.
Set up 4th down.
Set up 4th down and along 2. At about the 7.
Makes it 4th and 2 at the 7 for the Wildcats.
So 4th down and 2 from the 7. 10 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Butel again under center. He will keep the football again, actually pitch it over to Ernie. Ernie will turn the corner inside the 5 and into the end zone for a 7-yard touchdown run for the Wildcats. So with 9:44 to go in the first quarter, the Wildcats hit pay dirt and draw first blood. They lead it 6-0.
Bosse did not see that. I don't think they were expecting that.
Well, the Wildcats have a good tendency. They have multiple weapons that at least they could use in their ground game, especially with Ernie in that motion where they could use on the pitch. And on the brink to kick the extra point for the Cats will be Colton Smith. Tyler Atkins will hold. Ball is down, the kick is up, and it is good. So the Wildcats lead at 7-0 with 9:44 to go in the first quarter of play. We're back with the kickoff after this here on 18 WJTS. Back at Jerry Burr Alumni Stadium where the Wildcats lead at 7-0 with 9:44 to go in the first quarter, and the Cats will be kicking off to the Bulldogs. Number 32, Chase Spears, will do the kickoffs for the Wildcats, as Colton Smith is the extra point man. So a good 1-2 punch for the Cats, at least in the kicking department this year. Bulldogs with a couple of man back deep.
Now, like I said earlier before I stepped on my tongue, if they kick the ball to Hope, Hope is averaging about 24 yards a return for Bosse right now. So
Antonio Floyd Jr. Who's the other one besides 11? Okay. All right. Anyway, Antonio Floyd Jr. among the men back deep to receive for the Bulldogs, as Spears getting ready to kick off from the 40-yard line. Kick is away. It will be.
And it will be Hope. Oh,
actually, first man threw up the floors. That's number 4. He'll get across the 20 and out of bounds at about the 22-yard line, and that was number 4, Amari Hope. So Amari Hope and Antonio Floyd will be the return man for the Bulldogs this evening. And the Bulldogs led by their quarterback, Elijah Wagner. As we were talking about him a little bit, Jared, kind of a very multi-dimensional quarterback for the Bulldogs.
He's been a star for them. He's got looks like a 6-to-3 touchdown to interception ratio right now for the season, but he's averaging 200 yards a game passing so far.
He'll start the offense at the 23-yard line, first down and 10. And he'll work it out of the shotgun. First play, he'll dump a pass off on the far sideline to number 11, Antonio Floyd. And Floyd is away across down the far sideline. And about the, looks like he's out across the 35 to about the 37.
Almost jumped right into the Bosse bench there.
So big gain on the first play from scrimmage for the Bulldogs tonight.
Kerry, what do you know about this Jasper defense? I mean, I've only called one game so far this year. They brave pass defense, run defense?
A little bit of both. I mean, they're pretty good multi-dimensional, but here's a pass over the near sideline to number 2, to John Tomlinson, and Tomlinson will take it across to about the 45, maybe the 44 to 45-yard line. Looks like Tyler Atkins with the tackle on the play for the Wildcats. Pickup of, I believe, 8 on the play. Second down and 2 at the 45. So second and 2 for the Bulldogs at the 45-yard line. Wagner pitches it. On the far side, again, to number 2, to John Tomlinson. Those are probably going to be the main guys we're going to be calling tonight on the offense for the Bulldogs.
Tomlinson's third in the conference right now in receptions and receiving yards.
And he will actually get no gain on that play. It'll bring down third down and 2 from the 45. So the Bulldogs lucky to get the ball back to the line of scrimmage. So Jasper defense picking that up quickly. Wagner again out of the shotgun. Throw a pass up the middle. It is caught by Tomlinson, and Tomlinson will get across the 50 to about the 48-yard line.
Got wrapped up pretty quick there, though.
It looks like number 7 for the Wildcats, Jack Levin. Jack Levin on the tackle. It'll be good enough for a Bosse first down at the Wildcat 48.
Boy, he's running almost every snap out of that shotgun, ain't he?
That's just like Wrights did last week, and he's going to keep the football this time. He's going to try the near sideline. Atkins gives him chase, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds by Ernie. And he will be, looks like he'll just get it back to the original line of scrimmage. So we're going to call that no gain. Second down and 10 at the 48.
No gain on the play. Run out of bounds at the Wildcat 48.
So second down and 10 at the 48-yard line for the Bulldogs. Wagner with a man to his right. And he will throw a pass right up the middle. Again, it goes to Tomlinson. So Tomlinson has been his main target. That's twice now that little short pass up the middle has worked for him, Jared.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
That's good for a pickup of 8. It's going to bring down third down and 2 at the 40. Bosse, as you can tell, is going to be a team that's going to go kind of a nitpick, and probably then just try to surprise you with the big play. Over on the far sideline is a pass intended this time again for Tomlinson, and it's a little short. That'll bring up 4th down and 2 at the 40. And the Bulldogs likely are going to, well, it looks like they'll likely go for it here on 4th down at the 40. Those short passes have worked for them for the most part here on this first drive of the night. So 4th down and 4 for the Bulldogs at the 40. Wagner out of the shotgun again. 3 men on the near side, 1 on the far side. Wagner getting chased. Tries to cut it inside, and he will pick up the 1st down and get it across the 30. And inside, he's still on his feet. He gets it down to about the 20-yard line before he is going to be brought down. So a big play, as we were just talking about, is he was able to do it himself on that one, keeping the football and picking up about 20-yard gain on the play. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs at the Jasper 20.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, he's averaging about 177 rushing yards a game. Is Bosse's quarterback. It was a big chunk of yardage he just ripped off there for a 1st down.
Big play up to this point for the Bulldog offense. 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Landon Lloyd is sitting up on the far side. Wagner keeps the football again. He looks for a block, and he was going to be brought down and out of bounds by Atkins, it looks like, along with number 10, Elliott Smith, helping out on the play for Jasper. So Atkins and Smith combined for the stop, and that ball will be at the 22-yard line, so a loss of 2. 2nd down and 12. 6.5 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Jasper leads at 7-0. Bulldogs on the attack. 2nd down and 2 at the 22. Wagner goes for a man on the far side. He makes the catch, and a flag is down, I believe, on the play. Nope, my apologies.
And them two just have a rhythm together.
And the reception was made on that play by Tomlinson again. So again, Wagner to Tomlinson, this time down to the 6-yard line. For some reason, I thought I saw a flag go flying. Seeing things. Anyway, 1st and goal at the 6 for the Bulldogs. So they're looking to knock it on the door, of course. The handoff goes to number 11, and of course that is Antonio Floyd Jr. And that's not going to result in, looks like a no gain. 2nd down and 6. 2nd and goal at the 6.
2nd and goal at the 7.
Move the ball back actually to the 7, so 2nd and goal at the 7-yard line. Wagner throws it to the end zone. It is caught and just out of bounds at the 1-yard line by number 4, Amari Hope. So Hope makes the running catch, but his momentum carried him out of bounds before he could turn to the end zone. So that'll bring up 3rd down and goal at the 1. The Bosse offense on fire here in the outset.
It's a good drive for him, I'll say that.
They're moving the ball well. And they're 1 yard away from pay dirt. 3rd down and goal at the 1.
He's got Tomlinson in the backfield with him.
Into the end zone, caught for a touchdown. Wide open is number 2, Deshaun Tomlinson. So Tomlinson with the 1 yard reception for the touchdown for the Bulldogs, and they are within an extra point of tying this ball game. Bulldogs will line up for a 2-point conversion. And a whistle and an offsides penalty against Jasper.
Flag on the play. Offsides against the Wildcats.
So the Wildcats commit the defensive penalty on the 2-point try.
Going for 2 early.
Not exactly sure might be their arsenal. I'm not sure what kind.
I don't know.
From what we saw on the kickoff, we'll see what happens with that kind of kicking they got. But here's a pass towards the end zone, incomplete. to Amari Hope, so the two-point conversion fails, and the Wildcats will maintain the lead by the score of 7-6 with 5:24 to go in the first quarter of play. We'll be back after this here on 18 WJTS. As the football teed up at the 40-yard line and back deep to receive for the Cats, of course, again, is lining back and Fleck, but we'll see if we see another onside kick as we did on the opening kickoff. Looks like a little bit of change in I thought there might be a man running off to the sidelines, but nonetheless, Mari Hope will kick it off to the Wildcats. We'll just see how far he actually kicks it, or how far he tries to kick it. That's the question. And we do an onside this way, and that's going to not even get to 5 yards. And it's going to be picked up by the Wildcats. It looks like number 8, A.J. Halsman will pick it up and carry it to, looks like the 39-yard line. Or make that the 44-yard line.
I don't know if they're intentionally kicking this way, but they might want to go back to rethinking their strategy.
Well, they're intentionally doing it. It's obviously intentional.
That's not.
But I mean, they just must not have any kind of kicking game whatsoever. So, so you're probably, for every touchdown that they may score tonight, you're going to see a two-point conversion attempt. So
look at the field position starting out for the Wildcats.
Well, it's just about as good as it was in the first drive of the game, and Utel under center as normal. Levine and Ernie on each side. And the handoff, of course, goes to Holsworth. And Holsworth will take it across the 40 to about the 38-yard line.
That game 2 weeks ago in Evansville, Harrison Holsworth played a dominant role in that game.
So a gain of about 6 on the play. Second down and 4. Second and 4 at the 38. Up the middle again is, I believe, Holsworth. He will take it to, I believe, the 33-yard line, so a gain of about 5, maybe 6. My apologies. Gain of 1, apologies. Gain of 1, third down and 4 nonetheless. Ball is going to be rested at the 37. Utel back to throw a pass downfield intended for Ernie, and that's going to be broken up on the play. Looks by number 13 for the Bulldogs, and that is Prius Kentz.
Good throw. If it would have connected, I mean.
So I bring up 4th down and 3 for the Wildcats at the 37. Fourth down and 3 at the 37 for the Wildcats. Utel under center. Handoff goes to Holsworth, and he'll spin his way till about the 35-yard line, and he is going to be short of a first down, it looks like. He needed to get to the 36. 34, actually, I mean. And it will be the Bosse's football as they will take over on downs. So the Bulldogs hold the Wildcats on downs on Jared on 4th down.
Now we'll see what Bosse does when they get back. I thought really Jasper was going to be able to get the first down there. I didn't see a turnover coming.
Well, it's now up to the Jasper defense to kind of pick it up a little bit after allowing the Bulldogs to march right downfield on them on their first drive.
See if Jasper's defense can actually have some stoppage here and get off the field on 3rd and 4th down.
So Elijah Wagner brings his offense on the field. He's got 4 receivers on the far side, 1 on the near side, and he's behind himself as he will keep it and run it up the middle. Gets away from one tackler, loses a second, and brings it back down to about the 37-yard line, perhaps. In fact, it will be the 37 they'll spot it at.
They set him up a nice little hole there to run through.
Second down and 8 at the 37 after a pickup of 2.
Jasper's got to manhandle this Bosse offensive line to stop Wagner from doing this kind of running game here.
2nd down and 8 at the 37. Again, Wagner out in the shotgun with a man to his side. He will keep it, roll to his right. Penalty flag is down. Wagner now tries this side. Getting chased, throws the football. It is incomplete, but the penalty flag is down. Let's see where that comes from. The holding will be the call against the Bulldogs, so we'll bring it back 10 from the spot of the foul, which looks like to be about the 34, 33 maybe. So that indication that should take, let's see where they put the football here, but it'll be a 10-yard penalty. And they will spot it down to the 27-yard line.
Second and 18, 27.
So 2nd down and 18 results in the penalty.
We got about 27 there.
At the 27-yard line, yes. So Wagner again out of the shotgun. Throws a pass complete.
And
So looks like the number 2,
Tomlinson again.
Tomlinson on the play. Wrapped up by a pride of Wildcat tacklers. Pickup of about, looks like 10 on the play. That's going to bring up 3rd down and 8 now at the 37. So 3rd down and 8 at the 37-yard line for the Bulldogs.
High snap.
Out of the shotgun, he'll roll to his right. This time throw downfield, incomplete, intended for, I believe, number 4, Amari Hope. That'll bring up 4th down and 8 now for the Bulldogs. Let's see what the Dogs decide to do on this play. They're led by Coach Stephen Mullen, who's 5-9 in his 3rd year at Bosse. Of course, the Wildcats coached by Tony Lewis, now 29-14 in his 5th year at JHS, 160-80 in 22 years overall coaching. And Bulldogs will go for it on 4th down and 8 from the 37. Here's a pass downfield. It is going to be incomplete.
Oh.
It was intended for number 2, Tomlinson, but he was well defended on the play by Caden Ernie. Great job by Ernie defensively. And the Wildcats will take over on downs at the Bosse 37.
He juggled that, too. I thought it might come down with it for just a second there. That was a
From what I saw, I was going to say the same thing. I mean, it looked like it was kind of tight from there that you might pull it down, but you had to kind of wait for the official signal before.
Great defensive stop by Jasper.
So good job, as Jared pointed out, with the Wildcat defense. Holding the Bulldogs to the turnover on down. So Jasper will take over an exit field position. 1st down and 10 at the Bulldogs 37 with 2:14 to play in the 1st. Handoff, of course, goes to number 6, Carter Holsworth. Holsworth pick up about 2 on the play. It'll take it to the, looks like the 35-yard line. 2nd down and 8 at 35. Under 2 minutes to play in the 1st.
It's been a pretty exciting game so far. I think so.
Both teams scored on their first drives, but the Wildcats and the Bulldogs had their second drives respectively stall. Here is Vitell on the option, keeps it across the 25 to the 20. He's still on his feet, but a penalty marker is down back at about the 32-yard line. So great run there by Vitell, but unfortunately it's going to go for naught.
Is that a holding?
And it is a hold against the Wildcats.
You said it earlier, penalties. I mean, it's an Achilles heel for some teams.
The Wildcats had their fair share in the first game against against Memorial, and then last week against Wrights. So holding against the Wildcats. Mark it back 10 yards. It looks like they're going to spot it about the 40, looks like the 43-yard line. So that'll bring up second down and 16 at the 43 with 1:25 to play in the first quarter. Second down and 16 at the 43. Wildcats were well into Bosse territory with that big run by Butel. Now they got it second and long. And here's Butel with a long pass down the field. It's going to be incomplete. He was getting pressured on that play. It looks like number 33 for the Bulldogs, Griffin Jr., putting the pressure on him.
Looked like Atkins.
Actually, Keandre Hall was the defender, nonetheless.
Who's the intended receiver there?
Well, he had two men downfield, but the pass didn't end up anywhere near him. Because, like I said, he was just getting a lot of pressure, so he actually got hit as he made the throw. So I bring down third down and 16 now at the 43. Ernie, of course, checks in. Play clock winding down to 2 seconds. They get the play off. Holsworth on the carry up the middle. And that'll bring up fourth down now for Jasper. Gain of about 4. Fourth down and 12 now. 39 seconds and go on the play on the game clock. Wildcats will line up for a punt attempt. One man back to receive for Bosse. Looks like it's number 2, Tishawn Tomlinson, as Cole Trevino set the punt. Gets it away. High punt, but not very far, though. And that will land inside the 30 and roll all the way down. Nice roll, though. He'll take it down inside the 15 to about the 11 or 12-yard line. So the punt was high, but it got a very favorable bounce and a roll until about the 12-yard line, it looks like. So with 4 seconds to go in the first quarter, Bosse will take over first and 10 at the 12.
Deep in their own. Yeah. Good roll.
So one play left for the Bulldogs here in the first quarter before we go to break. Wagner under center with it. Floyd Jr., Antonio Floyd to his right. He'll take the snap and roll out to his right, keep the football, spins off a tackler, and before Trevino brings him down at about the 15-yard line, and that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter of play. With the score, Jasper 7, Bosse 6. Back after this here on 18 WJTS. With Jared Atkins and Jeremy Marcos, Kerry Schneider back at Jerry Brewer Alumni Stadium and Joe Rolleder Field for the start of the second quarter. Second down and 7 for the Bulldogs at the 15-yard line. Jared, as we have the second quarter play about to unfold here, Jared.
Yes. Second down and 7.
Second and 7 at the 15-yard line. Now the shotgun, of course, is Wagner. His pass is incomplete, intended again for his main target, Tishawn Tomlinson. So say that it's up to this point for the Cat defense to tighten up a little bit and just kind of prevent the big plays.
Yeah, and you got to contain what he's doing. Sorry, lost my train of thought there.
Third down is 17, or 7 at the 15. Talk about tongue-tied. And here out of the shotgun, of course, is Wagner. He'll throw a pass long up the field, and it is incomplete, intended for number 7, I believe. Yes, number 7, Landon Lloyd. And defending well on the play was Tyler Atkins.
He's been a good little tackler so far in this game. Atkins has. It looks like he's been involved in a couple of them.
Wildcats doing a good job on at least in their secondary tonight here, Jared. So like I said, they're going to have to be caught on here. And that brings up fourth down, by the way, for the Bulldogs, and they'll be forced to punt. we believe.
They're not going to. Surely they won't go for it here, will they?
Well, they've not shown anything out of their
No.
kicking game thus far from punting or what, and I believe that is that number 4 punting for the Bulldogs.
Looks like it.
Mari Hope. And he will get it away, and not a bad punt. Very nice bounce for the Bulldogs. That will roll past the 40, 35, and to about the 31-yard line. So an excellent punt, at least from the bounce standpoint, just like we had with for Jasper on Trevino's punt earlier. They will roll dead at the 31-yard line, so that's where the Wildcats will start their drive, 1st and 10. A 54-yard punt for Amari Hope. That bounce can be friendly at times.
Let's see if Jasper can kick up the offense a little bit here now.
So Jasper takes over, 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line. Butel sets him at the line, and he will go under center, of course. Up the middle is number 6 for the Wildcats, Carter Holdsworth.
No surprise there.
Yeah, so I should know better than that. Anyway, but Holdsworth with a nice run into Bosse territory.
That kid's a very good football player, Holdsworth is.
So a nice big run by Holdsworth to get the football into Bosse territory at the 47-yard line, 1st down and 10. Handoff goes to Holdsworth, up the middle once again. Oh, actually, sorry, but it is Butel who keeps it this time. And Butel will be across the 30, 25, and down out of bounds at about the 22-yard, the 22-yard line.
Holdsworth had me fooled. I thought he
He
had
sure
it for a minute. That was a great block he threw.
He had Jeremy blocked, too. I was watching because I was looking at the monitor, didn't he, Judd? So, anyway, Butel on the big run. 1st and 10 for the Cats at the 22.
You said Butel seen playing time last year as a freshman, too?
That's right. He came up as a freshman and saw playing time last year.
Man, he's a little firecracker there.
He is under center, 1st and 10. This time it does go to Holdsworth, and Holdsworth will be wrapped up by number 3, Royal Elliott. So Elliott makes the tackle on the play, but not before Holdsworth takes it down to about the 15-yard line for a gain of 7. 2nd down and 3.
2nd and 3 at the 15.
Second and 3 at the 15. On the carry once again, of course, is Carter Holdsworth. Holdsworth will take it down to about looks like the 9. So 1st to go for the Cats at the 9. So Wildcats looking to pick up their 2nd score of the night. Jasper's offense looking good here on this drive, Jared.
You got Atkins in the backfield, it looks like, too. There.
Handoff goes to number 25 for the Wildcats. Of course, that is Landon Fleck. And Landon Fleck takes it from 9 yards out, and the Wildcat touchdown. So Landon Fleck on his first carry of the night, I believe, scores from 9 yards out to give the Wildcats a 13-6 lead with 10:05 to go in the 2nd quarter. Cats will attempt their second extra point attempt of the night. Of course, number 30 for the Wildcats, and that is Colton Smith with Tyler Atkins holding. Extra point kick is up, and it is good. So the Wildcats lead it now 14-6 with 10:05 to go in the 2nd quarter of play. We'll be back after this here on 18 WJTS. Back at Jerry Brewer Alumni Stadium, where the Wildcats lead the Bosse Bulldogs 14-6, Jared. And of course, nice offensive drive for the Cats, moving the ball quickly downfield.
Let's see what Bosse does now in return.
Well, of course, we'll see how the Jasper defense responds here. Of course, want to get obviously hold that Bulldog offense down, and especially as they are as capable as they are with pulling off the big plays. So Colton Smith will kick off from the 40-yard line. 2 men back deep for the Bulldogs. Kick is on the way. It looks like that is Floyd Jr. Antonio Floyd Jr. with the return. And Floyd
about the 27 maybe.
Bring it back, as you said, to the 27-yard line where the Bulldogs will start their drive tonight. Third drive tonight, I believe, third or fourth. Second and
48, Dylan Rowling at the tackle for the Wildcats.
Yeah, we'll spot it down at the 27-yard line. First down and 10. Just trying to see where that spot actually was, and you were right.
First and 10, Bulldogs at the 27.
I'm getting older. It's hard for me to see.
That's why I know. We admit we cheat a little bit with our monitor up here to get a better view, but not the easiest sport to call, you'll always know. First and 10 at the 27-yard line. Here's a handoff to Floyd Jr., and Floyd is all the way down to the 40. He's being chased down to the 20, to the 10, and is out of bounds at about the just short of the 10-yard line.
Let's see.
So Antonio Floyd Jr., just as we were saying, the big play. Wildcats give up, and just like that, the Bulldogs are in business inside the 10, and he got it down first and goal at the 9.
Ripped off a 50, 60-yard run there, something like that.
Regardless of how big or how far it was big enough to get the Bulldogs into business, as we said. First and goal at the 9.
Jasper's got to tighten up their defense right here.
Wagner out of the shotgun. He will keep the ball himself, try to turn around to the 10, and he will be knocked out of bounds and possibly a late hit, but those flags will fly. And they will call it no. Actually, he's going to bring it back to the 11, so it'll be a loss of 2. So it'll be second and goal at the 11. So second down and goal at the 11-yard line for Bosse. Wagner out of the shotgun with Antonio Floyd to his right. He hands it off to Floyd. Floyd will try the right side, tries to turn the corner, and he will be brought down for our gain on the play by Mitchell Leinenbach. So great defensive play by the Wildcats secondary man. So Mitchell Leinenbach with the big tackle, and there'll be no gain again for the Bulldogs. This time it'll be third down and goal at the 11.
Third and goal from the 11.
So after the big play given up thus far, Jared, the Wildcat defense tightening up.
That's what we want to see. That's what they have to do here.
So third and goal at the 11, 9 minutes to go in the first half. Wagner is on his feet. Will step out of bounds, being pushed out of bounds by Wagner. Actually, they're going to by Leinenbach, I should say, at about the 9-yard line, it looks like. The 8-yard line, they're going to call it. So it'll be fourth down and goal at the 8 after a pickup of 3.
Out of the corner of my eye, I thought I saw a flag fly, but it was just kids throwing a football over there.
Fans in front of us were yelling for a hold, to no avail. Wagner out of the shotgun. Wagner throws a pass to the end zone. It's going to be batted down by Ernie. Great defensive play by the Wildcats, number 13, Caden Ernie, just to bat it down, doing what you got to do. Just go for just knock it down. You don't always have to go for the interception.
Great defensive.
But we do have a penalty flag down. Hopefully against the Bulldogs. So we'll wait to see what the call is. Tonight's officials are Ron Swindle, Kyle Benter, Jason Tapp, Brian Turpin, and Mike Wright. Unsportsmanlike conduct is going to be the call after the play, so there'll be a dead ball foul.
Dead ball foul against the Wildcats. Unsportsmanlike
against the Wildcats. That's going to take the ball back half the distance to the goal line as Jasper takes over on the fine defensive play by Ernie for the Wildcats, by Caden Ernie. Saves the touchdown, gives the Wildcats the football back, but unfortunately the unsportsmanlike conduct against Jasper will set it back to the 4-yard line, so it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Cats, pinned back well in their own territory. So Butel under center. And a whistle.
I didn't even see what it was, Kerry.
I'm not sure exactly. Oh, timeout by Bosse, I believe. So timeout is called by Bosse with 8:42 to go in the second quarter of play. It's Jasper 14, Evansville Bosse 6. Back after this here on 18 WJTS. Back at Alumni Stadium where the Wildcats start their new drive. 1st and 10, Jared, deep in their own territory at the 4.
See what happens here. They got to get the ball out of here quick and in a hurry. That's not favorable field position to be in.
Handoff goes to, I believe, of course, Holsworth, number 6.
What a surprise.
Carter Holsworth on the carry, but he may gain a yard on the play if he's lucky. They'll bring it to they'll set it down at the 5-yard line, so 1-yard gain. 2nd down and 9 at the 5.
I'm going to have to watch the monitor. I got this window right here.
Sometimes it does come in handy. Of course, it does come in handy. We'd be lost without it, but nonetheless, sometimes it also comes to your disadvantage. But anyway, 2nd down and 9 at the 5. Handoff actually goes to a turn in around there. It looks like, zoom in there. It was number 7 for the Wildcats, Jack Levine. And he will lose 1 yard, it looks like. So Jack Levin on the carry. Back to the 4-yard line. The football will be spotted. Now 3rd down and 10.
You got to get out of this deep territory. You got to.
Well, exactly. Try to get out of it as unscathed as you can. How about we pick up about 10 yards and sustain this drive? Maintain it. Pitch. Ooh, that's gutsy. Into the out to Levine. And Levine crossed the 10. And Levine is going to get the 1st down. And Levine stays on his feet. He's across the 35. A big play by Jack Levine.
Well, you were just talking about how about sustaining a drive. How's that for sustainability right there?
Absolutely. Great play by number 7 for the Wildcats, Jack Levine. And he got, I tell you what, that was a scary play the way that started out unfolding. I mean, he pitched it actually while in the end zone. Fortunately, they were able to get the play off. And Levine with the big run as he will take it to the 38-yard line. A gain of about 34.
Definitely caught Bosse by surprise there, I think.
So 1st and 10 for the Cats at their own 38-yard line. And actually, it's Butel on the option. He pitches it off to Ernie. Ernie across the 50 into Bosse territory. He's down to the 20. He cuts inside. He's still on his feet. He'll take it down to about the 1 or 2 yard line. And a big run for the Wildcats, number 13, Ernie.
Absolutely.
Caden Ernie, big run.
Impressive right there.
So 2 big plays, and just like that, the Cats go from their own 4-yard line down to the Bosse 3.
Here I was worried about getting out of that deep territory, and here we are 2 plays later.
On 3rd down, in fact, as it was.
Wow. That's awesome.
The Cats go about a total of 96 yards on 2 plays. Butel under center. He'll keep it up the middle. Into the end zone for the touchdown. So a 2-yard quarterback keeper by number 5, Max Butel. The sophomore quarterback takes it into the end zone. The Wildcats cover 96 yards. 96 yards in 3 plays.
Bosse was even crowding the line right there, and they still couldn't stop it. It was
Jasper's offensive line is solid. There's no question about it. It's gonna, for the most part, should have its way against Bosse's defense here, but And coming on for the extra point kick will be Colton Smith. Atkins once again in the hold. Smith is 2 for 2 on the night, and the whistle will blow the play dead. Penalty flag down. Offsides will be against, I believe, probably against Bosse, it looks like it is. When the indication. So now Cats look like they may be going for 2 now. In fact, they will. The offense will come on the field. So half the distance to the goal. We'll take it down to the 1.5 foot line. 1.5 yard line, I mean.
This Jasper crowd's super excited tonight.
Yeah. First 2-point attempt for the Cats, I believe, this year. Second.
Looks like Fleck in the backfield there.
Handoff goes to Fleck, and he is in the end zone for the 2-point conversion.
Great drive. Phenomenal drive.
So big drive for the Cats as they cover huge chunks of yards on 2 big plays. Highlight that drive for the Wildcats. Butel's 2-yard run for the score. And then, of course, the carry by Fleck for the 2-point conversion gives the Wildcats a 22-6 lead. With 6:15 to go here in the second quarter of play. We'll be back with the kickoff here on 18 WJTS. As he will have it teed up at the 40-yard line for the Wildcats. Jasper leads at 22-6. Big drive for the Wildcats on that last series there, Jared. And Spears will kick it off.
I'm still speechless. I was wondering how they were going to get deep out of their own territory, and then 2 plays.
On the return is number 4 for the Bulldogs. And that, of course, is Amari Hope. Hope will...
About the 25 somewhere.
It's about the, let's see where they spot that football. Looks like it's going to be about the 27.
27.
Alex Ware made the tackle for the Wildcats. Alec Ware on the kickoff return. First and 10 for the Bulldogs at the 27-yard line. 6:08 to go in the second quarter. Jasper leads it 22-6.
Flag here.
Looks like it's going to be offsides against the Bulldogs. Legal procedure is the call. And that'll mark off 5. So big up first and 15 at the 22.
Wonder if Bosse can put something together here. They started out pretty efficient early, kind of stalled here as of late.
So first and 15 from the 22. Wagner keeps the football. We'll be lucky to get it back to the line of scrimmage. Original line of scrimmage, that is. As he'll take it to about the 20, actually. So we'll call it actually a loss of 1. So he did take it to the 21. So, yeah, a loss of 1 on the play. Second down to 16 now coming up for the Bulldogs. So Wagner and the Bulldogs line up at the 21. He's out of the shotgun again. Fires a long bomb downfield intended for Tomlinson, and it'll be overthrown. Ernie again defending on the play. Caden Ernie everywhere tonight for the Wildcats, offensively and defensively.
That's a huge asset to that Wildcat team, too, Ernie is.
Caden Ernie, a 6-foot junior.
I thought he was a senior, too.
I knew he was a junior. I was reading it wrong. I should know. Third down and 16 from the 21.
I got to learn this Wildcat team a little better, Kerry.
Well, you've only seen one game. I've seen this only my second game I've seen in person. Okay, out of the shotgun, of course, is Wagner. And they'll roll it out to his right, get it across the 25, and he will be hit and brought down. Led on the tackle, looks like by number 25, Fleck. So Landon Fleck with the lead tackle on that play for the Wildcats. Bring it out to about the 28, maybe the 29, 28-yard line. We'll bring up 4th down and 9 for the Bulldogs.
Who's back there to return for Jasper?
That is number 1, Tyler Atkins.
Tyler Atkins.
So, yes, Atkins, a lone man back for the Wildcats, as the Bulldogs will be forced to punt. And the punt is away, and that will get past Atkins, and it'll take another big roll. And this time, Atkins will pick it up, actually, at about the 15-yard line to the 20, 25. Still on his feet. They'll bring it down at about the 30-yard line. So nice punt by the Bulldogs once again, getting a big roll, but Atkins had plenty of time to pick it up and was able to return it to the 30-yard line where the Cats will take over 1st and 10.
I didn't think he was going to pick it up at first. Plenty of time, though.
Yeah, he did have plenty of time to get down. He had no man around him yet, so Bliss gave him plenty of time to and the ability to return it as well as he did, about 9 yards or so. 1st and 10 for Jasper at their own 30-yard line. And looks like, do we have another timeout? We do. Timeout Bosse with 4:52 to go in the second quarter of play. It's Jasper 22, Bosse 6. Back after this here on 18 WJTS. Back at Alumni Stadium, it's Jasper starting a new drive, 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. 4:52 to go in the second quarter. Butel under center.
I'm really impressed with Butel.
Handoff goes again to, of course, Carter Holsworth. Holsworth will take it for about a gain of maybe 3 or 4, and a flag comes in late after the play.
That's late, too.
Most likely a little extracurricular activity again. We'll just see who it's against.
Spicy football.
Unnecessary in some cases.
Right.
Only hurting yourself when you, controlling your emotions is one thing, but you also, you got to do what you can not to hurt yourself when it comes to it. And the officials still taking their sweet time to sorting this out, and here's the indication. It is a personal foul against Jasper. So the penalty goes against the Wildcats after the play.
They got to stop putting themselves in positions.
So it is a dead ball foul, and it'll mark the ball back all the way to the 20 and to about this, past the 20. Let's see where they put it down. About the 17. So ball put it down actually at the 18-yard line. 2nd down and 22 as the scoreboard shows at the 18. Looks like a fumble on the snap, and Butel will keep it, and he'll be lucky to get it up to back to the 20-yard line before he is brought down. And he will get it to about the 20-yard line for a gain of about 2.
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed the 2 games I've called for Jasper. They don't actually turn the ball over very often. That game against Harrison, I don't think they had one turnover at all.
The ball will be spotted down actually at the 20-yard line, so a gain of 3. 2nd down and 19 now at the 21. Here's a pitch to Ernie. Caden will bring it across the 25 to about the 29-yard line. If so, that'll be a gain of 8. Ball looks like we're at about the 29-yard line, so a gain of 8. 4th down and 11 now. The Wildcats will be forced to punt. So Joel Trevino back to punt for the 2nd time this evening.
Is that Tomlinson in the backfield back there too?
Back to receive for Bosse, I believe it was, but we'll see what this has. It looks like a timeout is called by Jasper. Timeout by the Wildcats with 3:08 to go and in the second quarter of play. Jasper 22, Bosse 6. Back after this on 18 WJTS. Back at Alumni Stadium where the Wildcats will punt. Trevino back to punt, and of course, Deshaun Tomlinson, the lone man back for the Bulldogs. Punt is on the way. Tomlinson will call fair catch. He will catch the football, looks like at about the 42-yard line. So the football will be spotted at the 42-yard line where the Bulldogs will take over 1st and 10 with 3:01 to go in the first half.
Fair catch is called at the 42-yard line. First and 10, Bosse at the 42.
22-6 is their score with 3:01 to go in the first half of play. Bosse with the football at the 42-yard line. Wagner out of the shotgun as usual. He will take this football and scramble it off. Still on his feet. He will keep it across the 45 to the 50 in Wildcat territory, and he will be knocked from behind out of bounds by number 10 for the Wildcats, Elliott Smith. So Elliott Smith with a nice pop from behind, knocking Wagner out of bounds, but not before Wagner with the big play takes it into Jasper territory at the 39.
It looked like Jasper was going to take him down behind the line of scrimmage, but he got one heck of a block from his offensive lineman there at the last minute, and it sprung him.
Allowed him to show his quickness,
yes.
Needless to say, and he was able to get away and complete the big play. So it's now 1st and 10 at the 39. Wagner, the pass over the far sideline to Mari Hope. Hope will take it inside the 30 to about the 29. So a gain of 10.
We got some laundry on the field again, Kerry. Just seen it just come in, I think.
And
yep.
Indication is we'll see what it is actually first, but I'm just kind of going by Bosse's reaction. Looks like it might be against the Wildcats again. It'll be the second. If it is, that'll be the second time this evening. The Cats have been called for, well, this time unsportsmanlike conduct against Cats after the play has been ruled dead.
I don't know what to say. That's you don't. I mean, you're digging yourself a hole.
I hate to use the word uncalled for, but it is. As I don't know other way to put it. Unnecessary. The personal foul is against, or actually, well, unnecessary roughness is the call against Jasper. And that gives the Bulldogs, just like that, the football at the 14-yard line, 1st and 10. So the Bulldogs, just like that, knocking on the door there, Jared. 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. Handoff goes to, of course, Antonio Floyd. So Floyd on the carry, and he will pick up a few yards.
Just one big, massive pile right there. Didn't really get much.
And it's going to be enough for about a 4-yard gain at least.
Floyd on the carry for the Bulldogs. Ball spotted at the 11-yard line.
3-yard pickup on the play. 2nd down and 11. Breezy night here at Alumni Stadium. Wagner on to carry, and he's going to be brought down from behind the line of scrimmage by number 55 for the Wildcats, and that is Nick Hanselman. So Nick Hanselman for a tackle for the loss. Brings it back now to the 16-yard line for a loss of 5. 3rd down and 11.
11 at the 16.
Bulldogs looking to pick up a score before the half. Wagner keeps it. He keeps it down to the 20. Still eludes another tackle, still on his feet. Now tries the far sideline, throws a pass over to the end zone. It is intercepted by the Wildcats. Caden Ernie's back again. So Ernie with his 3rd defensive play, big defensive play, this time an interception, and the Wildcats will have it back at the 20.
Incredible.
So Caden Ernie having a great night on the defensive end tonight for the Wildcats. He's knocked out 2 passes. He's intercepted 1. And the Cats will have it back at the 20-yard line.
First and 10 at the 20-yard line.
Big defensive play for the Wildcats again. Last week, it was Mitchell Leinenbach with a pair of interceptions against Wrights. Right now, Ernie has his first of the night. 1:16 to play. First and 10, Jasper. They lead at 22-6 at the 20. Holsworth on the Holsworth on the carry, and he's got a big run, and he's going to take it to the house. He's to the 40, he's to the 30, and he's tripped up from behind on the big defensive play by the Bulldogs. A touchdown-saving tackle right there.
Man, I thought he was gone.
Number 3 for the Bulldogs, Royal Elliott, as I said, just made the dive and was able to get Holsworth by the ankles.
Barely.
And he is going to be, we'll see where they spot the football inside the 25 to about the 26. 24, excuse me.
Ball will be spotted at the 24-yard line. First and 10 Wildcats at the 24.
56-yard run.
Jasper's offensive
Let's see
line.
were they moving the ball back? They moved it back to the 29-yard line. So make it a 51-yard run. Either way, the Cats have it in the Bosse territory. First and 10 at the 24 with 1:05 to go. Sideline warning against Jasper this time? Yeah. First and 10 at the 24. Ball, 29 actually, I should say. Yeah, 24, the ball is going to be 29, and either way, the fumble snap, and we have a timeout, Jasper. 38 seconds to go.
Timeout, Jasper.
38.8 seconds to go. It's 22-6, Jasper. We'll keep it right here.
Still waiting on someone to claim the half.
So the Wildcats
Both green tickets.
and the Bulldogs kind of taking their breaths here, as we said there, after those big runs there, Jared.
The offensive line for Jasper has really been setting this running game up for him. Some nice blocks. Winning the battle at the line of scrimmage, definitely.
That's where the games are won, in the trenches, as they say.
Right.
But nonetheless, it'll be, like I said, good offensive, a lot of offensive plays big here tonight. Of course, a lot of big defensive plays also, too. As I said, of course, Caden Nerney with a couple knockdown passes.
He's just flying all over that
interception,
field
and, of course, a big play there to thwart the Bosse threat there. And after a big run by Holsworth to get it into Bosse territory. Of course, the big saving tackle there by the Bulldogs.
That would have been a touchdown.
Of course.
I mean, he just barely got him.
So second down and 10 at the 24. Butel back to throw. He'll fire a pass towards the end zone. Wide open is number 1 for the Wildcats, Tyler Atkins, for a 24-yard touchdown strike.
Man, oh man. That was beautiful execution right there.
Something I don't think anybody expected, at least at this point, certainly about the Bulldogs. 24-yard touchdown pass play from Butel to Atkins, and the Wildcats now lead it 28-6. 31 seconds to go in the half. And a whistle and a timeout, Jasper. Again, with 32 seconds to go in the first half. Jasper leads it now 28-6. We'll just go ahead and keep it here again as the Wildcats will line up for maybe perhaps a 2-point conversion, I guess. We'll see what they decide to do. Looked like they were doing that before they called the timeout.
Kind of what it looked like.
So with this ball game, of course, the Wildcats and the Bulldogs coming into this contest, both 1-2, looking to even their records tonight.
Hungry would be the word I'd use. Hungry.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Man, Jasper's really just kind of put their foot on the gas here.
Bosse, like I said, they still got the offensive weapons, needless to say, they can do too. They got the big plays, but Jasper's been able to answer them with their own defensive plays on their end. It looks like the Cats will be going for 2 here, as Butel again under center. Pass up the middle, intended for number 88 for the Wildcats. Hunter Eckert is incomplete. And the 2-point conversion attempt falls short. And the Wildcats lead it 28-6 with 31.9 seconds to go. And the first half will be back after this here on 18 WJTS. We're set for the kickoff. 28-6 is the score with 31 seconds to go.
Listen to this Jasper.
Chase Spears ready to bring them forward. Waiting for the signal from the official. And there it is. Kickoff is a line drive that's going to roll out of bounds at the 6-yard line, and they'll bring it back to the 35. So 28-6 is our score. Jasper with the lead over the Bulldogs. See if the Bulldogs just decide to just end the half itself here, or maybe go for with the long bomb itself. But they're in their typical offensive setup with Wagner out of the shotgun. And Wagner will keep the football, and he was going to be wrapped up and for a loss and brought down on the play by number 88, Hunter Eckert. And Trevino also, and we got a penalty flag down. Might see what the call is. It is a hold against Bosse.
Holding is the call against the Bulldogs.
23 seconds to go in the half. A rather long half at that. I'll say more than rather. It has been a long half. Penalty is declined, by the way, by the Wildcats. We'll start the clock now. Wagner out of the shotgun. Keep the football, roll to his right, and he'll fire a pass downfield for the Wildcats sideline. Pass, I guess, was intended for Landon Floyd. Was way out of bounds, and that'll bring up 3rd down and 17 with 11 seconds to go.
Third and 17 at the 28.
So 3rd down and 17 at the 28-yard line. Wagner fires a pass that's going to be intercepted by the Wildcats. 2nd interception for the Cats tonight. That, of course, is number 21, Nate Lukemeyer. Lukemeyer across the 30, or 45, I should say, and down at about the 41, and that'll bring us to the end of the first half of play. So an interception by Nate Lukemeyer will bring us to the first half to a close with the Wildcats leading 28-6. We'll be back to talk a little more about the first half. Take a look at some of the stats and bring you the second half of play right after this here on 18 WJTS. Back at Jerry Brewer Alumni Stadium, Kerry Schneider along with Jared Atkins and, of course, Jeremy Marcos on the camera tonight. We are about to bring you the second half of play with the Wildcats leading the Bosse Bulldogs 28-6. Take a quick look at the stats here for a moment as here at halftime. The Wildcats and Bulldogs almost dead even with the first downs. Jasper with 9, with Bosse 7. Total yards for the Wildcats at 309 in the first half, while Bosse racked up 183 total yards. Penalties was a big thing for both ball clubs. Jasper 6 penalties for 50 yards, while Bosse with 37 yards in penalties on 5 infractions against them. Some of the individual statistics for tonight's game: the Wildcats led by Carter Holsworth with 132 yards on 14 carries, with a long run of 56 in this ball game. Max Butel, the quarterback, kept the ball a total of 5 times for 31 yards, including a touchdown. And Caden Ernie with 75 yards rushing on three carries with a 60-yard run. And Jack Levine with 33 yards rushing on 2 carries. And Landon Fleck with 9 yards on a single carry. Bulldogs led in rushing at halftime by Antonio Lloyd Jr. He with 66 yards on 4 carries, 49 yards for Elijah Wagner, the quarterback for the Bulldogs. And, of course, Wagner on the passing department, 80 yards passing on 9 out of 19 attempts. He has thrown 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions on the night, however. Max Butel, 29 yards on 1 completion out of 3 attempts. His lone reception going to Tyler Atkins for 29 yards. And, of course, the Wildcats got on the board early as Caden Durney had a rush for 7 yards out. They were followed by PAT by Colton Smith. Extra point made it 7-0. Bosse then answered with Elijah Wagner with a pass to Sean Tomlinson to make it 7-6 as the extra point, 2-point conversion failed. Wildcats went up 13-6 on Landon Fleck's 9-yard run, actually. And then, of course, followed by a 5-yard touchdown run, or 2-yard touchdown run, I should say, by Max Butel. Landon Fleck ran for a 1-yard run to make it 22-6 after a 2-point conversion attempt failed. 28-6 after Max Butel's pass was complete to Tyler Atkins for 1 yard out. Wildcats playing good defensively as well, too, Jared, as a pair of interceptions by the Wildcats, some big ones in this ball game. So defense coming up big for the most part, but it's been it was a pretty entertaining first half.
It was exciting. I keep circling back to when I was worried they were deep in their own territory, and then 2 plays, 90-something yards, and then a score.
They covered 96 yards in just 2 plays right there for the most part, and was 2 to 3 plays, including actually with the touchdown run. But it was 2 big plays by the Wildcats. Of course, number 6, Carter Holsworth, namely with the one that got them back from being deep in their own at the 4-yard line.
If you're head coach Tony Lewis right now, you're happy the way things are going. But if you're the head coach Mullen for Bosse, what happens in that locker room when you go in there halftime? What do you change when you come out here?
Yeah, I guess is mine. Mostly just regroup. Anyway, but we're ready to start the second half, and here's the kickoff. Brought up by an up man here. This looks like number 11 for the Bulldogs. Antonio Floyd. Floyd still on his feet across the 50 into Wildcat territory, so a big return for the Bulldogs puts them in excellent field position to start the second half. So
they got a lot of ground to make up.
Antonio Floyd Jr. for the Bulldogs with a big return to the 45-yard line. So first down and 10 for Bosse. Let's start the second half. First half, a very, very long first half, we might add. We're talking almost an hour and 30 minutes. So Elijah Wagner out of the shotgun as usual. He will keep the football and try the far sideline, turn the corner, gets it to about the 40, maybe to the 41-yard line before he steps out of bounds. So Wagner with the keeper to the 41-yard line for a pickup of 4 on the play, second down and 6 at the 41. 28-6 is our score here as we're just underway here in the third quarter on 18 WJTS. Wagner again keeps it on the far sideline. He will stay on his feet. He's at to the 30, to the 25, to the 10, to the 5, and touchdown. On the second play of the second half, quarterback Elijah Wagner scores from 41 yards out to make it a 28-12 score. As we said, it's just like Castle saw last week, this Bulldog team can be explosive. They're not prone to the big plays.
I didn't see that coming. I really didn't.
Either way, you just got to be on your feet with a team as big and athletic as Bosse is. The Bulldogs will go for two. Wagner fires in the end zone. It is incomplete, intended for Amari Hope.
And we got a flag.
And the flag is down, is it?
It looks like a flag.
Penalty flag is down at the 10-yard line. Roughing the quarterback against the Wildcats. So personal foul against the Cats will give the Bulldogs
another crack at it.
Another crack at it with half the distance to the goal line. So personal foul, roughing the quarterback against the Cats. And they will spot it down to the 1. Bulldogs with another crack at it. Wagner will keep it. Wagner will elude a tackle, and he will be stopped just shy of. Actually, the ball is loose, and they're going to roll him down at the 1-yard line. So the Wildcats, after all that, hold the Bulldogs on their 2-point conversion attempt. So the score will remain Jasper 28, Bosse 12 with 11:31 to go into third quarter of play. Back after this here on 18 WJTS. Mari Hope set the kickoff from the 40-yard line, and this one actually gets away, but it's going to go out of bounds, and they'll bring it back to the 35-yard line on the penalty. So at least this one wasn't a onside kick ground ball, and the Wildcats will have good field position. I believe, see where they put it, probably at the 35. 28-12 is our score. 11 and a half minutes to go in the third quarter. Jasper on top. Talk about the first half. I think a little bit has to be do with the officiating. These guys are taking their sweet time tonight.
There's no sense of urgency here.
No, there's really not a lot of sense of urgency with them. You're exactly right. So football is going to be spotted at the 37-yard line. First and 10 for Jasper is Butel under center.
I'm really impressed with
Holsworth behind him.
Butel runs this.
Handout, actually, Holsworth on the option. He'll keep it. Butel. Butel across the 50, and he take it to the 49-yard line. So Butel on the carry.
It's a lot of read option off. That's a lot of what this team is.
You're going to see that is going to be kind of like the focus of their offense this year. You're going to see as and they do run it well.
I mean, although Butel did sling it pretty good earlier.
So Butel under center at the 49-yard line, first down and 10. This time it does go to Holsworth. Holsworth across the 40, and he will be brought down from behind by number 3, Royal Elliott, for the Bulldogs.
About how many yards does he have tonight?
Well, in the first half.
He had what? 100-something yards?
First half, he had 132 yards.
Man, this kid is just like a bulldozer.
On 14 carries for a 9.4 average. Of course, his longest was the 56-yard run.
Just a trucking, man, just a trucking.
Big 56-yard run got them Wildcats deep out of their own territory, as we talked about earlier. It is first down and 10 at the 37-yard line. Holsworth again, across the 30, and he's going to take it all the way down to the 10, to the 5 for a touchdown. 37-yard run for the Wildcats. Number 6, Carter Holsworth, the same 6'1" junior, with the touchdown run.
Coming into tonight, he was the Wildcats' leading rusher. I mean, averaging 5 yards a carry coming in tonight. I can only imagine what his stats are going to look like after this game's over.
After his first touchdown run of the night.
Impressive athlete.
34-12 is our score. 10:34 to go in the third quarter. And again, just a long time in between the touchdown and the two-point conversion attempt.
No sense of urgency.
And the Cats will, of course, go for two. Try to make this a 36-12 score. On the option is Butel, and he will take it. Ooh, just short of the end zone. He will not get across the pylon. And the two-point conversion fails for the Wildcats, who lead it 34-12 with 10:34 to go in the third quarter. Back after this here on 18 WJTS. Nice stadium where the Wildcats just picked up a score of 34-12, but failed on the two-point conversion attempt. 34-12 is our score with 10:34 to go in the third quarter. Cats will kick off to the Bulldogs here.
This Jasper team's really had some good execution tonight, minus the sloppiness of the penalties.
Kickoff is underway. Hope will have to return. He'll bring it across the 20. And he will be brought down by Pride of Wildcat tacklers. At about the, let's see, they'll spot it. It looks like at about the 24-yard line. Official had to foot down on the 24-yard line. That's where they'll put it. So about a 16, maybe that's about almost a 20-yard return by Hope. It's first and 10 Bulldogs again at the 24-yard line. 10:27 to go in the third quarter. Elijah Wagner out of the shotgun. He will hand it off to Antonio Floyd. Floyd will bring it across the 25.
I thought that was a flag there for a second. No, just towel.
We've seen enough of that tonight.
It literally just out of the corner of my eye, I thought it was.
Ball will be spotted at the 26-yard line, so call it a skate of 2. Second down and 8 at the 26. And a whistle, and it looks like a penalty flag is down again.
See, I jinxed it. That's my fault.
I'm not exactly sure this is the most penalties I've seen in a ball game, but it's getting close to that. There's going to be offsides against the Wildcats. That'll give Bosse 5 new extra yards. So we'll bring up second down and 3 at the 31.
Like I said, Kerry, I don't want to call them sloppy, but it's a good thing they're winning with all these penalties they're getting tonight.
Not much more either way you can put it, but it's definitely been a big Achilles heel for the Wildcats this year. Here's a handoff. It goes to, looks like Floyd Jr., and he is going to be wrapped out of the ball. It might be loose. Will they rule it down, though? Are they going to rule it down? No, they're going to rule it a fumble. Jasper with the fumble recovery. We'll try to see if we can pick up who comes up with the football here. I did see Leinenbach down there on the live play. I'm not sure who got it or not.
The WJTS intern, Mitchell Leinenbach.
So the Wildcats, nonetheless, will get the football back on the turnover. Who got the fumble recovery, Matt? Dave, who got the fumble recovery? Okay. Mitchell Leinenbach did make the fumble, or with the fumble recovery for the Wildcats. Well, I saw Mitchell down there low on the live play, but I was trying to see who came up with it on the return. Anyway, here's Holsworth on the carry as the Wildcats start from the 32. So Holsworth on first down with the carry for a gain of about perhaps 8. Ball is down at the 24-yard line, so handoff again goes to Holsworth. He's up the middle. Number 6 for the Cats brings it down to about the 25-yard line, or actually the 20, I should say. Tackles made on the play by Royal Elliott, and along with Prius Kintz make the stop. 1st and 10 at the 19. Cats looking to get a quick score here and kind of up that lead a little more. They lead it now 34-12. Holsworth on the carry, spins away from a tackle. He gets it down to the 5 and down to about the 1-yard line. Wow. So Holsworth with an 18-yard run there down to the 1-yard line. Clock running under 8:20 with 8:26 to go in the third. First and goal at the 1. Tell will hand it to Holsworth, who deserves to have the football and the touchdown, and he gets it right there from 1 yard out.
What a game.
So Holsworth did all the work for you on the drive there, getting them in the position that they were in. So deservedly, he will get the football and get the 6 points for the touchdown. That'll make it 40-12. Wildcats will this time line up for extra point attempt. And penalty flag like that. This time it is offsides against Bosse, so will they still kick it or go for 2 this time? Or will they just decline the penalty? They will take the 1.5-yard penalty and still attempt the extra point kick. Atkins to hold. The kick is up, and the kick is good. And that will make the score Jasper 41, Bosse 12 with 8:02 to go in the third quarter of play. Back after this here on 18 WJTS. Back at Alumni Stadium, where the Wildcats once again will kick off to the Bulldogs after the Cats score 41-12 is the score. Kick is on the way. Will be taken about at the 1 yard line. Brought forward here by number 4, Amari Hope.
Man, he's
and Hope
the
still on his feet and will be knocked out of bounds at about the 27 yard line. So a 26-yard return by Amari Hope.
48, Dylan Rubbling on the tackle for the Wildcats.
Dylan Roblin makes the tackle on the play for Jasper. $7:51 to go in the third quarter. Jasper leads at 41-12. Football to be spotted at the 28-yard line, where Bosse will begin their drive 1st and 10. Elijah Wagner out of the shotgun. Looks downfield, keeps it to the 30, 40, and out of bounds at about the 41. They'll call it out of bounds at the 40, so about a pickup of 12. 12-yard pickup, 1st and 10 for Bosse at their own 40.
Man, I didn't really notice till just now looking down there, but Bosse has some big offensive linemen. It's affording him quite a bit of time down there.
He's been able to have a lot of time to make some moves on the Wildcat defense, though. And here's a pass over the far side. It is complete to Amari, and he's going to be wrapped up and brought down by Nate Lukemeyer.
Like a rocket.
Lukemeyer with the initial hit.
21 Nate Lukemeyer on the tackle for the Wildcats.
Lukemeyer with one of the 2 Wildcat interceptions tonight. He is a sophomore. Second down and 4 at the 46-yard line. A pickup of 6 on the play. Wagner again behind the line of scrimmage, takes it out of the shotgun. He throws a pass intended to Tomlinson, who'll just flat out drop it.
Pass intended for number 2, Desmond Tomlinson. Incomplete.
So the incomplete pass brings up 3rd down and 4 now at the 46. Wildcat defense looking to step it up here and perhaps force the Bulldogs to punt, hopefully, and get the football back. Wagner keeps it. Wagner gets the first down into Jasper territory. He is down to the 10, to the 5, breaks a tackle, and he will take it to the end zone for the touchdown.
You said it earlier,
so
explosiveness.
So like I said, that Bosse explosiveness led by their quarterback Elijah Wagner with the big run of 54 yards. 54-yard touchdown run by Elijah Wagner makes it 41-18 Jasper with 6:45 to play in the 3rd quarter. And the Bulldogs line up for the 2-point conversion. Wagner out of the shotgun, surveys the field. Throws a pass in the end zone. It is going to be ruled as a 2-point conversion. The catch is made, it looks like, by number 7, I believe. Landon Lloyd, it looked like. Landon Lloyd makes the reception for the 2-point conversion. And the Bulldogs make the score. Jasper 41, Bosse 20 with 6:45 to go in the 3rd quarter. Back after this here on 18 WJTS. Amari Hope has set the kickoff to the Wildcats. Well, the Wildcats front line on their special teams bunched over to the far side over there, and of course anticipating what is obviously an onside kick, and that will be recovered by, looks like, Atkins. And back to this, Tyler Atkins with the recovery at the 50-yard line. So Amari Hope and the Bosse kickoff team trying to do what they can to get the ball back, obviously, quickly, but Jasper obviously sniffing that out, and Atkins comes up with the football on the onside kick, and the Cats have it 1st and 10 at midfield. Butel hands it off to Holsworth, who breaks a tackle and gets it across the 45 to about the 42-yard line. So a gain of about 8. 2nd down and 2 at the 42. A lot of scoring in this ball game, obviously. 61 points altogether, and it's another way to prolong a ball game like that, because we still got 6 minutes to play here in the 3rd. So 2nd down and 2 at the 42. Holsworth again on the carry. He'll get the 1st down at about the 38. So pick up a 4. 1st and 10 Jasper at the Bosse 38. Griffin Jr. on the carry, or excuse me, on the tackle, I should say, for the Bulldogs. And the whistle is blown and play is stopped. Now Play resumes now with 5:40 to go in the third quarter. Nice breezy night, cool night here. Excellent weather for football this evening. Wildcats look like they're taking their time here. Still 15 seconds to go on the play clock, and Butel under center just now. He will take the snap and hand it. Oh, actually pitch it out to looks like number 7 for the Wildcats, and that is number 7, Jack Levine. Jack Levine on the carry. He will pick up first down at about, looks like, the 21-yard line.
Nice little chunky yardage there.
So Levine on the carry, takes it to the 21-yard line, and good enough for a first down. First and 10 at the 21. Pitch goes to Ernie. Ernie across the 20 and knocked down just shy about to the 17-yard line. Royal Elliott makes the tackle on the play for the Bulldogs. Ernie will pick up 4 on the play. Second down and 6 at the 17. So, Butel under center. Fleck behind him. He will hand it off to Fleck. And Landon hits it down to the 5. Bowls his way about to the 3 or 4 yard line.
He wasn't going to go down without a fight there.
Landon Fleck, nice run by the 5'8" senior.
Looked like he was going to drag half of Bosse into the end zone with him.
14-yard pickup by Landon. Makes it first and goal at the 3. Wildcats looking to score once again. They lead at 41-20. So far already, the Wildcats with their highest offensive output of the season. They had 39 points against Harrison a couple of weeks ago. Handoff goes to Fleck again. Landon may have gotten back just to the line, maybe gained 1 on the play. We'll see where they spot it. It is down to the 2, so second and goal at the 2.
Second and goal at the 2.
2:40 to play in the third. 41-20 is the score. Cats looking to pick up 6 more. Second and goal at the 2. Handoff goes to Fleck, and he is just shy, looks like, of the goal line again. He may pick up 1 this time again. That'll make it third and goal at the 1.
Again on the carry. Pick up of a yard down to the 1 yard line. Third and goal at the 1.
Wildcats if scoring is inevitable, the nice thing about this is that the clock will continue to run. But we still have a full quarter left. Under 2 minutes in the third. This time the handoff goes to Holsworth, and he will have his hard time getting across the line as the Bosse defensive line holds. So about a half-yard gain on that, as Kevin mentioned.
They are tired of Holsworth abusing them. They are resisting right here.
Fourth and goal at the 1. Under a minute and a half to play in the third.
Just let that thing keep ticking down.
13 on the play clock. Holsworth again, the lone man in the backfield. Handoff goes to Holsworth, and looks like Bosse has held him. The Bulldogs have held the Wildcats. A goal line stand by Bosse, as the Wildcats had first and goal, I believe, at the 3, and were unable to get it in. And the Bulldogs will take it over first and 10, I believe, at the, looks like the 2.
First and 10 at the 2.
So the Wildcats come up short on that drive after having, I believe it was first and goal at the 3. And after 4 plays later, we're unable to get the football in the end zone. The Bulldogs hold. And out of his own end zone and a shotgun is Wagner.
Man.
Wagner will bounce it outside to about the 8-yard line for a gain of 7. Or a gain of 6, I believe. See where they put it. Looks like it's going to be the 8-yard line, so it is a gain of 7. And a penalty flag on the play, and it looks like a hold against Bosse, so that'll pin them back half the distance to the goal. So a Bosse Bulldog penalty will put the football back, I believe, at the, see where they put it, at the 1 yard perhaps. Yep, 1 yard line. So first down and 12 at the 1. So Wagner again working out of his own end zone and the shotgun. He will keep it, and he will be brought up. They get away from him. They scramble for it, and it will be a safety as Wagner is chased out of the back of the end zone for a 2-point safety. That'll make the score 43-20 with 42 seconds to go in the third quarter. So the Wildcat defensive line comes through, and the sack basically of quarterback Elijah Wagner. With 42 seconds to go in the third quarter, it's Jasper 43, Bosse 20. So great job, Jared, there by the Wildcat defense to tighten it up a little bit. And of course, actually, the big point being Bosse being pinned back as far as they were. So Cats at least get 2 points of those back after being held on the goal line stand by the Bulldogs.
Jasper came in tonight ready to play, looking to avenge what happened last week against Wrights. I mean, I'm impressed. It's been a phenomenal showing from them on both sides of the ball.
So Wildcats lead it now 43-20. And they will get the football back here on the free kick. Kind of look ahead to next week for both ball clubs while we have a second. Bosse will be on the road again next week. They will head up to the north side of the Pocket City to take on the North Huskies at Hundred Stadium. While the Wildcats will also be heading down to Evansville. They will be at the Wrights Bowl next week to take on the Modern Day Wildcats. That'll be a 7:30 start, locally Dubois County time. We'll have that game for you next Saturday at 10 o'clock here at 18 WJTS, as well as Sunday afternoon here on Channel 18.
I did not realize Modern Day's mascot was the Wildcat as well.
That is true. So the kickoff will come from the 20-yard line. You think they'll kick this one away, or will they go for the onside kick? I doubt it. Here's a kick. He does get it away. It will be brought up by, let's see,
about the 42.
About the 42-yard line. That is number 20 for the Wildcats, I believe. And that is number 20, Jaden Peak. Was it? Yes, number 20, Jaden Peak on the return. So Jaden Peak, another sophomore, 5'11", 143-pound sophomore. Young Wildcat team.
You were just making the reference a minute ago. Bosse's kicking game. I don't even know what to say about that this evening.
Well, I mean, when they do try to kick it away, it actually hasn't been all that bad. They've had some good punts tonight. The Cats will have the football at the 44-yard line, first down and 10.
poison moxie is what comes to mind when I think of this Butel.
Butel under center. He will keep it on the option. Takes it across the 40. He will be wrapped up by number 3 for the Bulldogs, Royal Elliott.
Looked like he was going to have a chance to really cut the corner there for a second.
Ball will be spotted at the, looks like the 39-yard line, so a gain of 5, second down and 5 at the 39, and that will bring us to the end of the third quarter of play. So your score, Jasper 43, Bosse 20. We played 3 here at Jerry Brewer Alumni Stadium. Back with the fourth quarter after this here on 18 WJTS. Action here on 18 WJTS. Kerry Schneider along with Jared Atkins and Jeremy Marcos here. And tonight, one thing I'd like to quickly point out, Jasper High School recognized the 1973 Jasper Marching Wildcats, who won a state champion marching title under the direction of Mr. Donald Gamble way back when, 50 years ago this year. Once again, congratulations to them. Great to have many of those members back here tonight to be honored here on Joe Roletter Field. First and 10 for the second down and 5 for the Wildcats as we start the fourth period of play.
1973.
On the carry is Landon Fleck. That's right. Landon Fleck on the carry, and 73. I remember that. I believe my sister was part of that band. I'm not exactly. I had an older sister who was a guide-on back in those days. They had guide-ons and part of the band. Not exactly what they did, but anyway, she was part of that squad. And
my parents would have been about 5 in 73.
Okay. So was I.
It's a long time ago.
So was I.
I'm not saying nothing.
What are you saying?
I'm just
to this man who's sitting at double nickel now. Okay, here is the handoff. I believe that is Fleck again. It is. Landon Fleck on the carry. Don't worry, son. I'll get there, too.
I just turned 36 this summer. I had to walk up these steps.
That big boy.
We need an elevator in up here.
Well, you and I just need to get in shape.
That's true.
I'll be the first to admit that. Second down and 5 after the gain of 5.
No, but what I was saying earlier before I'm really impressed with the way Butel is. And he's only a sophomore?
Only a sophomore.
That's impressive.
And he is under center. He again, well, actually keep it this time on the pitch.
Is that Fleck? Who is that?
Well, actually on the carry. I'm trying to pick up the number there.
Lukemeyer.
That is, yes, Lukemeyer on the carry. So Nate Lukemeyer. It's pretty much safe to say that Holsworth is pretty much done for the night for the most part. As Fleck has carried the last couple of players, and before Lukemeyer on that one.
His final tally for this game. He had a heck of a night, that young man did.
We will check that out at the conclusion of this ball game. As Wildcats sticking with Butel, though, right now, with a 23-point lead. Handoff goes to Landon Fleck, and Fleck will get it across the 30 to about the 28-yard line.
There he was. I thought it was him earlier. There he is now.
So Landon Fleck on the carry with a pickup of about 3. They'll bring up fourth down, though, for the Cats. Most likely the Wildcats will go for it on fourth down and 4.
I wonder, do you at some point put some other guys in for a little bit of
Well, it just all depends on, right now. I mean, when you consider the fact that Bosse's offense, the way they could blow things, obviously come up with the big plays, you're going to have to be conservative at this point and try to obviously work as much clock as you can and maybe hopefully get another score. But anyway, here is Butel keeps the football, and he will get the first down, and he will be out of bounds at about the 15-yard line. So Butel on the keeper preserves sustains the drive.
Earlier tonight this game, I was talking a little bit about Bosse's quarterback and how quick he is. Butel's no slouch.
Well, there's no question about it. You want to get at least one more in the end zone to widen that lead, which right now is at 23, and with 9:13 to play in the ball game.
As explosive as Bosse is, they could make up the difference. I see what you're saying.
Handoff goes to Fleck. Landon across the 15 to about the 12. He will spot it at the 12. So 3-yard pickup on the run. 2nd down and 7 at the 12-yard line for Jasper. Under 9 minutes to play in the ball game. Holsworth is back in the backfield. Handoff. Well, actually, Butel will keep it. He will keep it on the room. Yes, you're right. He's inside the 10. It's about the 7 or 8 yard line. We'll mark it actually at the 7.
Be short of a first down, aren't we?
We'll mark it down actually at the 8. And he'll bring up 3rd down and about 3. We're at the 8-minute mark. Butel under center. Handoff goes to Holsworth. He'll spin off a tackler inside the 5, and he's down to about the 1.
I thought he got in there for a split second.
He was just shy of the goal line, and we'll mark it down to the 1. So pickup of 7. It's 1st and goal at the 1 for the Wildcats. 7.5 minutes coming up on the 7.5 mark in the ball game. First and goal at the 1 yard line. Butel hands it off to Holsworth, and he's in the end zone for the touchdown. So Holsworth with his 2nd touchdown of the night, I believe. 49-20 is the score.
He's got to be encroaching on the 170, 180, 190-yard game.
Wildcats with 49 points to show, looking for point number 50 as they will attempt the extra point. Colton Smith is on with Atkins again to hold. Kick is high, and it is just wide right. So the extra point kick fails for the Wildcats. They lead it by the score of 49-20 with 7:11 to go in the ball game. Back after this here on 18 WJTS. Here is Spears at the kickoff for the Wildcats, who lead it by the score of 49-20.
Beautiful football weather.
It has been an excellent night weather-wise, an excellent night offensively-wise for the Wildcats tonight, as the kickoff is brought forth and returned by number 4, Amari Hope. And Hope brings it out to the 40, 45, and down at about the 47-yard line. He will be brought down by number 7 for the Wildcats, and that is Jack Levine. Jack Levine on the tackle. Bosse will set up shop at the 47-yard line, 1st and 10. 7:02 to go in the ball game. 49-20 is our score. Once again, out of the shotgun again is Elijah Wagner with a man to his right. Wagner looks downfield, surveys the action, gets pressure, and he will go down. Looks like that is number 89 for the Wildcats. Actually, Hunter Eckert, number 88, excuse me. Eckert with the tackle. Eckert, a big boy himself at 6'4", 227 pounds, as a junior.
That's a big boy.
He's set up as a big tight end and defensive lineman, the defensive end. Twelve-yard loss on the play, 2nd down and 22 at the 35. Wagner gets away. Wagner at the 45, across the 50 to the 40, and he may take it all the way, and he will. To the 15, 10, 5, touchdown. 65-yard run by number 5, quarterback Elijah Wagner. And it's now 49-26.
There's that explosiveness you were just talking about.
It's that big play that the Bulldogs are capable of that has kept them in this ball game tonight somewhat. 65-yard run with 6:07 to play. It's 49-26. And the Bulldogs more than obviously will go for the two-point conversion. Wagner with Floyd Jr. to his side. Looks, and will be chased out of the end zone by number 56 for the Wildcats. Of course, that is Will Wallace now playing as a lineman for the Wildcats this year. So the two-point conversion fails with 6:07 to go in the ball game. Jasper leads it 49-26. Back after this here on 18 WJTS. Number 11, Antonio Floyd, has set the kickoff for the Bulldogs, most likely an onside kick. At least that's the way the Wildcats front line and so forth, our front men are anticipating, as you can see, as we can see. And there it is. Actually, he's going to kick it away. And it will be Fleck to take it at the 20, 25, 30, across the 35, and at about the 37-yard line. And lo and behold, there's a penalty flag against the Wildcats, a hold against the Wildcats.
Tony Lewis has got to be pleased with his team tonight. Has to be.
With the exception of the penalties.
Well, minus the penalties that we were talking about earlier.
And minus the big plays that the Cats have been given up tonight. It is those big plays that have kept the Bulldogs into this contest to the extent of at least a 49-26 lead. With the penalty, the ball will be set back to about the 19-yard line, which is where Fleck actually fielded it at the 20 himself on that kickoff return. So 1st and 10 for Jasper at the 19-yard line. Butel hands it off. Actually, we'll keep it, and it keeps on the option. Butel across the 25 to the 30, to the 40, 25, 40, and out of bounds at the Bosse 35.
Fellows, it looks like.
Big run by.
Bosse's leading sacker.
It's a big run by the Wildcat quarterback. He's been doing well on the ground himself tonight, working the option. The Cats will have it 1st and 10 at the Bosse 35. First and 10 at the 35. Hands off to Holsworth. And Holsworth is wrapped up on the play by number 34, Kamar Cooper.
Holsworth on the carry. Number 34, Kamar Cooper on the tackle for the Bulldogs.
3-yard pickup on the play. 2nd down and 7 at the 32. Handoff goes to Holsworth with the new quarterback in the contest for the Wildcat, A.J. Holzman. So Holzman, a 5'11 junior, is now behind center for the Cats.
Number 33, Griffin Jr. on the tackle for the Bulldogs. We have a new quarterback for the Wildcats, number 8, A.J. Holzman.
Gadrion Griffith Jr. made the tackle for the Bulldogs on that last play. As we said, new quarterback for the Wildcats, A.J. Holzman now in the contest. He's a junior. Senior running back Carter Holsworth remains in the contest, however. He will get the carry. Holsworth will take it to about the 25-yard line for about a gain of 3. They'll bring up 4th down and about 1. So 4th down and 1 at the 26-yard line. Holzman under center. He will keep it, pitch it to, looks like Lukemeyer. He spins off a tackle inside the 10, still on his feet, inside the 5 to about the 4-yard line.
Great.
Nate Lukemeyer, great run for the Wildcats sophomore. He carries a few tacklers his way down to about the, actually going to knock it at the 5. So first to go for the Cats at the 5. 3:25 to go in the ball game. Cats looking to put the final nail in the Bosse coffin here. A.J. Holzman under center. Hands it off to Holsworth, and he will dance his way into the end zone for the touchdown.
That's his 3rd one, right?
So another touchdown by the Wildcats, number 6, Carter Holsworth. 55-26 is the score. So the Wildcats, with their, by far their biggest offensive output this year. And it's actually surpasses the most points that Bosse has given up this year after giving up 52 to Castle last week. Smith is on to kick again. He missed his last extra point. This one is up and looks like it is through. It is with a 56-26 score with 3:02 to go in the ball game. We'll be back after this here on 18 WJTS. And another kickoff by Chase Spears. Ground ball kick is going to be taken at the 15-yard line by number 11. Of course, that's Antonio Floyd Jr. And Floyd Jr. will take it to about the 40-yard line. We'll see where they put it. Actually, about the 35, I should say. So out of bounds at the 35, 36. Under 3 minutes to go in the ball game. 56-26. Jasper with the lead. Wildcats will be on the road next week and be back home for 3 weeks after that. They'll be at Evansville next week at Wrights Bowl to take on the modern-day Wildcats. Bosse will be back on the road next week. They'll be at North. Here's, again, Antonio Floyd on the carry. He will pick up about 8 or 9 on the play. A lot of new faces for the Wildcats coming into the contest, as you can well expect at this point. Wallace and Nick Hanselman coming off the field. Floyd on the carry. Floyd across the 50 to about the 49.
A little over 2 minutes to go.
Clock continues to run. As Jared said, we are at the 2-minute mark. Wagner out of the shotgun. Looks. Keeps the football, and he will step out of bounds at about the 50-yard line.
Wagner on the carry. On the keeper. Down to number 12, Nick Pearson.
Nick Pearson is the man who chases him out of bounds. Ball now at the Bosse 49-yard line after a loss of about 2. 2nd and 12. Wagner on the run. Looks, he'll shuffle pass it to, looks like number 11. That was to Floyd. To Antonio Floyd, it was the attempt, and that will be incomplete.
There goes.
We'll bring up 3rd down and 12. As now, looks like Cole Trevino will chart off the field, as will number 88, Hunter Eckert. New faces in, of course. Jonah Kaczynski coming into the contest as number 9, Jalen Van Slyke, senior, will come out.
Number 52 in there, little plug, little cheap plug.
3rd down and 17 now at the 44 after a loss of about 5. .143 to play. Floyd on the carry. He'll be brought down by, let's see, we got there number 50 for the Wildcats and number 19. That would be Joel Wootner. And Alec Ware. Joel Wootner and Alec Ware combined to make the stop. And that is pronounced Wootner.
I was wondering how that was Wootner. Okay.
It's one of your 4 old school names at Jasper.
I was a Ranger grad. I wouldn't know.
I understand. It looked like we have an injury down on the field.
Happy 50th birthday to Todd Duncan.
An injury, a man down on the field for the Bulldogs, and while that is being taken place, let's take a quick break here on 18 WJTS. Alumni Stadium, the injured player for Evansville Bosse was number 11, Antonio Floyd Jr., who has been their main ball carrier of the night, other than, of course, the quarterback himself, Elijah Wagner. He was helped off the field. Speaking of Wagner, he takes the snap. He'll throw a long bomb down the field intended for number 7, Landon Lloyd. Yep, Landon Albrand, yes, they made the providing the defensive pressure and play on the play for the Wildcats. So Albrand, 6'2" junior. Fourth down coming up for the Bulldogs with 1:05 to play. Wagner fires it downfield. It is caught at the 25-yard line and down about the 20. A big play again by the Bulldogs with under a minute to go. They'll put the ball, it looks like, at the 21. So first down for the Bulldogs at the 21-yard line. They're not done yet. At least as far as trying to put some points on the board. Here is a pass up the middle. It is complete. And a host of Wildcat tacklers will bring him down. That's sure I was able to pick up the number on the reception. Nonetheless, there'll be another first down for Bosse. This time it looks like it's going to be about 1st and goal. At the 7, maybe? 7-yard line. Clock runs with 41 seconds to go. 1st and goal for the Bulldogs at the 7. Wagner throws to the end zone. It is incomplete as the pass was right in the hands of Landon Lloyd. He dropped it. He let it fall right out of the breadbasket. That stops the clock with 31 seconds to go. 56-26 is the score. Cats well on their way to their 2nd victory of the year. Bulldogs will fall to 1-3. But they're looking to get a few more points on the board here before the end of this one. There is a pass into the end zone for the touchdown Pass is complete to Tashawn Tomlinson. That'll make it 56-32.
Pass to the end zone is complete. Number 2, Tashawn Tomlinson.
So both teams combining for 88 points in this contest thus far.
Impressive.
Bulldogs looking to make it 90. In a ball game that has lasted 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Has it been that long?
10-15 right now.
My goodness.
Here's a pass into the end zone, batted down by Allbrand, but there's going to be a penalty flag, and what's the point of throwing that at this point of the ball game? I guess it's got to be. It's got to be. But there will be a penalty against the Wildcats for interference, I guess, against Allbrand, who was looking to swat the ball down, but they will call him for the pass interference unnecessarily. The Bulldogs once again will line up for a 2-point attempt. Wagner throws another floater to the end zone, and this time the pass is complete to number 34 for the Bulldogs. I believe was at 34. I don't have him on my roster. Regardless, it's a 2-point conversion, and it's 56-34 with 27 seconds to go, and we'll leave it right here. So the Wildcats will still win this ball game by the score of 56-34 with a combined of 90 points in this contest.
Oh, my goodness.
In a ball game that has lasted 2 hours, more than 2 hours and 45 minutes. And Jack and Connie Yagi are still here, unsurprisingly.
You know, Mrs. Yagi was my teacher.
Mrs. Yagi was?
Mr.
Yagi was my principal, and I'm sure he still has scars, emotional scars to prove that. So the Wildcats will move on in this ball game once it finally ends.
I'm anxious to
look
see
forward to take on the modern-day Wildcats next week.
the final stats on this game.
We will get them here
Momentarily.
shortly after this game is completed, courtesy of the Messmer boys, Dave and his sons, Matt. Dave and Matt, of course, and I can't remember the third, his younger son. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I'll have to apologize for that.
Even the great ones are allowed to make mistakes, Kerry.
Well, we won't go there. But it's one of those time killers there, Jared. It's in ball games like this when you have a hard time coming up with
That's
them.
right.
But
Kerry told me not to flatter him earlier. I'm like, I remember listening to you on the radio.
those were years ago.
Years ago.
Here is, of course, an onside
Another
kick again,
swimmer.
which will be recovered. Look like by the Wildcats, or did the Bulldogs come up with that? Jasper has the football.
Take a knee and
So the ball game will come to a close most likely after this next play, which will be Cats likely should be going into the so-called victory formation once they finally do hit the field.
no sense of urgency from the officiating tonight.
That was one thing, but it's just either way, it's probably the longest night I've ever spent at a high school football game in my life. But that's okay. We're here because we have fun. And, of course, the knee is taken down. The clock will run, and that will bring us to the end of this ball game with the final score of Jasper 56, Bosse 34. As we said, a ball game that lasted 2 hours and 50 minutes altogether here at Jerry Brewer Alumni Stadium and Joe Roletter Field. Speaking of Coach Roletter, he's standing right in front of our window here. Always a pleasure to see you, Jack. See you, Connie. Always a pleasure to see Coach Joe. And we will wait to look at the stats as we get them here. In the meantime, Jared, we'll just kind of dissect this ball game a little bit. Obviously, a high-scoring game, a total of 90 points, 2 hours and 50 minutes. Long night here at the gridiron, but big win for the Wildcats tonight.
I'm impressed with this Wildcats team. I mean, this is only the second game I've called. This is about the third game I've seen this season out of them. Yeah, I mean, good execution. Minus the penalties, there's a sloppy work there. It's got to be done. Good thing that they were in the lead for the majority of this game, because that penalties was killer.
It was. I mean, nonetheless, you can't really obviously dwell on it too much. I mean, that's something you got to work on, especially games that when you're going to be playing the more high quality ball players, ball teams. That is to say, but nonetheless, I mean there's a lot of ways you could look at it, taking this game. I mean, you had the opportunity to show your offense a little bit there and work on some different things, but at least you think you would. But nonetheless, I mean, this is also one of those games when normally when you put 56 points on the board, you're also going to get a lot of your reserves in for a little longer than it did, but not in this case, as the Cats, obviously had to kind of preserve the win because with Bosse and they're obviously with their big plays and that which kept them into this contest. Nonetheless, it was an interesting ball game, regardless, and they come out on top by the score of 56-34. Thank you very much, Dave Messmer. We have the stats now in this ball game. We'll kind of run those down real quick here. For the Wildcats, they have 22 first downs in the contest to Bosse's 14. Also in the ball game, the Wildcats were led in rushing by Carter Holsworth, 246 yards on 30 carries. For an 8.2 average and a big run of 56.
One more time,
246 yards on 30 carries with 4 touchdowns. The Wildcats with 7 touchdowns all on the night altogether. Max Butel, the Wildcat quarterback, came up with 113 yards of his own on 10 carries tonight for an 11.3 average. 46 yards was his big gain, and he scored a touchdown. Caden Nerney, 79 yards on 4 carries with a 60-yard long gain. And 1 touchdown. And let's see, rounding out the rushing for the Cats, Nate Lukemeyer with 24 yards on 2 carries, 3 carries and 50 yards for Jack Levine, and he had a 34-yard run. And, of course, also on the carry, Landon Fleck had 41 yards on 8 carries on the night. Max Butel, 29 yards on 1 of 9 in the ball game. In fact, Butel did not throw a pass at all in the second half. And Tyler Atkins was his lone receiver at 29 yards on the night. The Bulldogs were led in rushing by, looks like Amari Hope. Take that back. That was actually Tashawn Tomlinson, 57 yards on 7 carries, 46 yards on 3 carries for Amari Hope. And 14 yards on 1 carry for Royal Elliott, 14 yards on 1 carry for Antonio Lloyd Jr. On the night, however, Elijah Wagner was 13 completions, so 50% passing rate. 13 out of 26 for Elijah Wagner for 137 yards. And of course, he threw 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. His big gun tonight in receptions, it looks like, was Tashawn Tomlinson, who had 57 yards on 7 completions, on 7 receptions. 3 receptions for Amari Hope for 46 yards. So altogether, the Bulldogs with a total of 422 yards total offense, but the Wildcats themselves 582. So big night offensively for both teams. And I'm not going to really go over all the individual scoring. There's just too much to show, but to go over. But nonetheless, Jared, obviously an interesting ball game itself in all kinds of ways. Jasper comes up with a 56-34 victory.
Outstanding play offensively, defensively, gets good stops in. I'm happy. It was a great win for them. They get a little bit of momentum. Go down in Mater Day next week?
The Wildcats will be on the road next week as they will take on the Mater Day Wildcats. The Cats, of course, they're on the road next week, but afterwards they will be returned in a couple of weeks here at Joe Rollletter Field and Jerry Brewer Alumni Stadium on September 22nd. The first of 3 straight games at home here at the home friendly confines, so to speak. against Central. But next week, yeah, the Wildcats will be on the road to take on Evansville Mater Dei, while the Bulldogs will be on the road at Bungeon Stadium on the north side of Vanderburgh County to take on the Evansville North Huskies at Bungeon Stadium at Evansville North. So
Mater Dei was a 1-2 team going into tonight too. I don't know where they're at. Obviously, we've been calling this game.
Well, looking ahead to that game, Mater Dei is obviously not the Mater Dei of last year, as they are the defending 2A state champions. But obviously, a different story for that ball club next week. We'll see how the Wildcats pan out next week on the Hilltop at the Wrights Bowl here on 18 WJTS. Of course, that game will kick off at 7:30 DuBois County time again at the Wrights Bowl. For those of you plan to head down. Can't make the game, we'll have it here for you on 10 o'clock next Saturday morning and at 7 o'clock next Sunday evening, again here on 18 WJTS. For Jared Atkins and Jeremy Marcos, I'm Kerry Schneider saying so long from Joe Relletter Field and Jerry Brewer Alumni Stadium, where the Wildcats defeat the Evansville Bosse Bulldogs to improve their record to 2-2 on the year by the final score of 56-34. So long, everybody.